State University Athletic Department, and here we are back in the Waco Center for another edition of the Coaches Show. And our guest for this segment is head men's and women's track and cross country coach Dan Meyers. Coach, good to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Coach, so we went unseasonably warm Saturday at Ogilvy Park, and actually for the end of the day, it got up into the 80s when I was coming back south. We were talking about for a November conference cross country meet. Just some takeaways from the day.
First and foremost, I think that every year the Mountain East has made a huge commitment and to increasing the championship environment. And I think that was definitely on display on Saturday. And warm temperatures. We didn't race the way that we wanted to. When they ran their hearts out, but we just didn't execute in some of the things that we talked about before the race. And I hate that some of the seniors kind of ended their careers on a race that they might look back one day and regret a little bit. But at the end of the day, I told them, as long as you cross the finish line knowing that you gave everything that you had, you can't ask for much more. But huge takeaways as far as some girls that I was very impressed with that conquered a course of something they've never seen before, and Summer and Kira, and we had two freshmen in the mix as well, and then Sam being our top girl, running faster than she did last year. And on the guys' side, the highlight was Trey Stanley, our freshman, being our number one runner and kind of stepping up when we needed him. And I think that he is such a team guy that, we talked immediately. His first reaction after the race is that he could have done better. And I'm like, well, I don't know how much better you could have done than being our one guy. But I think that being number one on the team doesn't make a difference to him. It makes a difference how the team does. And I think that shows that he's going to have a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, and I know we got, several teams. Of course, Charleston nationally ranked, and Concord very likely, moving on. And with what D&E and West Liv's done, that top half on the men's side is so deep and talented, So for the immediacy, I know you're looking to get, those teams that are right ahead of you this week with Frostburg and Fairmont, and that is going to be, well, as far as hitting the recruiting trail now, I'm trying to get some pieces in there. What talk about this offseason?
Yeah, I think that, one of the goals that we fell short of this year was tightening the pack a little bit. If you look at the times at the conference meet, it would be a little bit deceiving considering our top four were pretty close, but not where we needed them to be, obviously. And I think we just need to have more depth from 5, 6, and 7. We just got to have more of an insurance policy when things don't go right. Hats off to those teams like Frostburg and those teams. They're fighting an uphill battle like we are. And I think that I think on a perfect day we can be right there, but I think that we need to make sure that we're there on the days that aren't perfect as well. So like you said, we got to be a little bit, get a little deeper in the recruiting and then to try to mix it up with them at the top of the conference.
You had moving on and looking ahead to track now. You got the indoor meets coming up here within a month. We got some meets on the schedule. You graduated a couple key performers, a couple all-time greats,
yes.
Nathaniel Wheeler and Brody Strouderman. But you've added a lot of pieces that you could just pencil in. This kid could probably score. This kid could probably score.
Yes.
So there's a lot of upside looking ahead here to the indoor championships and the outdoor championships.
On both sides, I think that with the conference, you can sit and say like I think this person's going to score, but where the conference is going, you're never really sure, and it's increasing in a great way. But I think one thing we immediately on both sides got a lot better at was just having depth in the relays, and I think that obviously indoor 4x4 in the DMR, I think we're going to be a lot better on both sides. Outdoor, 4x4, 4x1, I think we're going to be a lot better. And that was kind of that was main goal in the recruiting. And then honestly, kind of feeding the fire, what's been working has been the throws. And we have some freshmen, female and male throwers that I think that are going to do a really good job for us. They're going to be fighting for points, but as you know, those 6, 7, 8 spots, are going to be huge. And one of the things that we guys got to be a little bit better as is sprints and hurdles, and I think that we will be. But just because most of our throws points with more throwing events outdoors, we just got to be a little bit crisper in some other areas indoors to do what we did outdoor last year.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So
agreed. And you got seeing yesterday like some good groups out there that are doing the 400-meter work. Doing those threshold twos. And you can definitely see there's and I know Coach Butler's been a tremendous help for you.
absolutely.
And I mentioned there's more depth.
Yes, and I would also say that we have been taking advantage of this warm weather just in this time of the period. And as you know, like this time of the year, if you can get any warm days, how much it helps in the development of the speed and whatnot. And Javon has done a great job at that with the long sprinters getting a little bit more speed work this time of the year. So we can be a little bit more. We were strong last year in indoor, but I just feel like we peaked way too late. We had a great outdoor season, but I think there was a lot of things we left on the board last year in indoor, and I think that some upperclassmen leaders like Angela and Hayden, they're ready to kind of redeem themselves, have a little bit better indoor season like they kind of had on the outdoor side. So they're going to be huge as well, and obviously Travis Hill is going to be a major factor for us. He's going to do a little bit of multi-work this year. He's put a lot of commitment into the vault. He's been with the long sprint group every month, every beginning of every week so far. So he's really diving into being an all-time athlete for us.
And I'll tell you what, it's the thing with this sport. We always turn the chapter, and it never ends. And you go on, and now in less than a month, be going. You have a little over a month having these outdoor meets, and then we move on. But tell you what, really excited about the direction things are going here, and we'll be talking again here, I guess, next month.
Yes, absolutely. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, enjoyed the conversation today, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
And thank you all for joining us out there. We'll see you next week on the Coaches Show.